that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love, to love. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is sadness, joy. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Namaste. Shalom. Peace be unto you. Namaste. Shalom. Peace be unto you. Namaste. Shalom. Peace.
Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me, as me. Where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me, as me. For where I doubt, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer. Here and now, forever and ever and ever.
feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love.
Good morning from the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. What a beautiful day it out is in our courtyard today. Just thank you for joining us today. I just wanted to take a moment to show you the beautiful courtyard we've been working on. Lori Hart, Susan Fransky, Sherry Rusi have all contributed to this courtyard. So I just wanted to show you how beautiful the landscaping is here, as well as we have places for people to sit out here, that if you wanted to come join the beauty that we have out here anytime you want to during the week, you're welcome to do that. So I just want to bring us back into the room now where we have wonderful music. Bodhi Heshko is with us today, so I'm going to turn it over to him to open us up with a song. Blessings, everybody, and thank you for joining us today.
I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abides. And I know the joy of being. And I choose fear to release. Every moment love wakes up, and peace is every step. Try that with me. I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abides. And I know the joy of peace. And I choose fear to release. Every moment love wakes up, and peace is every step. Peace is every step. And peace is every everybody. Welcome to Napa.
Thank you, Bodie. Just such beautiful music you offer, transformational music. So good to have you live with us today. So many of our musicians are streaming in. It's great to have you in the room so we can enjoy your music.
Yes,
Thank you for being here. Welcome again, everybody. What a beautiful day it is to be, whether this might be your first time or your millionth time. I mean, we've been doing this since March 8th, so bless all of you who have stayed with us for most of this time. And if it's your first time, we have a welcome, and we always have a blessing for all of you that are joining us. So we raise our hands and we say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is. We also want to repeat our vision and mission statement every week just to reaffirm that it is already happening and continue to evolve in perfect ways. So we are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. We are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. And so it is. So today, I just want to give you a few announcements before we jump into our service. There are some important things for you to know that we are opening to new things, new possibilities. There are small groups that are online that we're starting to register this week. They'll start next week, but we're excited about them. And you can go online to register under our event page, but it includes groups for men's spirit, for Women's Spirit. Both of those will be on Tuesdays. The Men's Spirit on Tuesday at noon, the Women's Spirit Tuesday on 5. Now, the Women's Spirit, you're going to meet initially, but then you're going to decide when is the best time for you to meet. And those will be once a month probably, but Women's Spirit may be more often, just depending on what you decide. And then we continue to have the Heart, Mind, and Spirit Recovery Group, which is a spiritualized 12-step program that's really exciting, so you can register with that online. Or actually, there's just a Zoom link because it's to be anonymous there. NEAA with that. Wisdom Seekers. Now, this is something new. Every Friday, we're going to do this at noon. Wisdom Seekers. We used to have this some time ago. Anybody can join this at any level, even if you're not a regular part of our community, but it's the idea that people are spiritually seeking through literature or the internet or their own ideas, and that we can share these ideas and find some common ground that we might have. And then another exciting thing is that new classes are going to be announced next week that are going to be taught. And finally, you know, we had this beautiful event out in our courtyard that I was out this morning, Sip and Savor last year. And with the COVID, we just don't feel comfortable having an in-person event this year. So we're going to have a virtual Sip and Savor and auction, and it's still going to be on the regular date that we had planned. It's September 12th. We're going to start a silent auction several days beforehand, and we're looking for donations for that silent auction. It could be timeshares or wine tastings or fine art by professional artists, whatever you think you might want to donate to the auction. We would really appreciate that. You can contact Mary in the office about that. And then the actual day, September 12th, we're going to have a gala. We're not sure of the time, probably around 4 p.m., just for an hour, and it's going to be games and live music and just a fun time to come together and celebrate our vision and mission we have at our center. So hope you can join us. Mark it on your calendar. September 12th is only a few weeks away, and be a part of that. We'd really love it. And then we continue to have our weekly schedule with a care and sharing prayer group that's on Wednesday at 10 a.m., meditation at 6:30, and then we also have a meditation in Spanish. You can get information, all this online. The Heart and Mind and Spirit Recovery Group on Thursday we've talked about. And then, of course, every Sunday we have these live services, and afterwards we have the Zoom call that link is on your website there, or probably on the screen right there. So all of these things are exciting, and please join us to be a part of our community in small and big ways. We appreciate you being here with us today. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Bodie for some music.
still my mind, be at peace in my awakening. I release with my heart, free my soul in my awakening. I am whole. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti.
Good morning, everyone. I invite you now to join me in prayer as we all get settled, perhaps close our eyes, maybe take a deep breath, but whatever it takes to get you effortlessly to that place within yourself of divine peace and contentment. And as we go there, we know we are all from one source. We are all connected to Spirit. And in our togetherness, we share this brief meditation. Knowing that you can come back to this place anytime you choose and stay as long as you like, much longer than the brief time we have here. I would like to go to share with you what our topic is this morning. Our topic this morning is really a delightful one. It's called the TAO of Freedom. And it reminds me of one of my favorite little books, which is called the TAO of Pooh. This is a book that's based on ancient Chinese Taoism from the perspective of the Winnie the Pooh characters, and it's adorable. In the West, we tend to say the way instead of the Tao, and Tao is spelled T-A-O. But I can't tell you how surprised I am how often I think of this little book. Just recently, I was sitting in a waiting room, wearing a mask, minding my own business, and this lady huffed in, looked at me, and said, "I won't wear a mask. Don't tell me what to do." And she added some other choice remarks that I won't repeat here. But I sat there, a little dumbstruck, and she reminded me in many ways of Eeyore, the donkey in the Winnie the Pooh characters, who was always complaining, was quite pessimistic, but truthfully, I don't know if Eeyore had quite as much rage as this lady. But it made me think of that book again. And as I sat there, I wanted to be like Piglet and ask her questions, but I didn't dare. I would have loved to have said, "Do you stop at red lights? Do you stop at stop signs?" That's all a mask is. It's just a little bit of each of us helping with public safety. That's all it's about. But I didn't dare. She was a whole lot bigger than me and quite angry. So I just sat there and realized I was acting more like Pooh. I just kind of nodded at her. So I invite you to check out this delightful little book. It's called The Tao of Pooh, spelled TAO. And it will show you a way of being if you can be more like Pooh, who was known for effortless doing. Nothing was ever a big problem for Pooh. So think of a shrug, or think of the word whatever. That's what comes to my mind when I think of Pooh. So if you would like to check this out, once again, it's called The Tao of Pooh, and the author's name is Richard Hoff, spelled Hoff, and I think you'll be in for a real treat. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. The Tao of Pooh, one of my favorite books. And I wrote a book called The Tao of Music, because music is my way of being Pooh in the world. And this song that I wrote called Tonight, I know it's morning, but this song was written in the evening when I was not feeling very well, and one of those moments when you have doubt about what you're doing, and I went to see a friend play some music, and when I left after watching her sing, I felt so much better. I realized, oh, wow, I did something outside of myself to go listen to someone else, and then I fell in love with the music again, and I knew that my doubt had evaporated. So here's a song called Tonight. I fell in love tonight. The music reached into my soul. I woke up tonight. I remember who I am. Tonight I open the door tonight. I soften in my heart. I felt grace tonight, and I appreciate who I am. Tonight, and I believe, and I believe, and I believe everything is possible with love. Fell in love tonight. The music reached into my soul. I woke up tonight, and I remember who I am. Blessings.
Blessings. Thank you so much, Bodhi. Such a delightful song about waking up, just remembering, and it's music, it's the consciousness around us that wakes us up. So thank you so much. So good to have you here. It's fun to have these different musicians coming into our service. I believe it's David Washington is going to join us again next week. So you're going to start to see some patterns of the people that come around here. So good to have you here. We're going to continue the series on untethered spirituality this month. This is the last of that series. It's interesting because at this center, we often talk about creating the life of our choosing. But I don't know about you, lately, it feels like life is choosing for me, that I don't feel as free, that some of my life is constricted by the coronavirus restrictions, but some of it I want to restrict myself because I don't want to be out there where I'm exposed to something, but also anxiety about political and social unrest. It just kind of leaves me sometimes anxious about being anxious. And we wake up and we look at the news to figure out what's going on today, and then we spend more time than we probably is necessary checking out the news of the day. I know people are concerned about unemployment benefits. That affects a lot of people and other things. And yet, I believe today, as we talk about the Tao of freedom, that we can find freedom even in our constrainment. What we know is people that have been in concentration camps, have been imprisoned, have even in slavery or oppressed or suppressed in some ways, have found freedom. Now, it's easier if we have less constraint and we're free to be who we are. But what inspires me is those people that are oppressed and suppressed, if they can find freedom, then I can find it too, because it is often our own belief system, our own way of doing things that we keep hidden from us because they're uncomfortable, that keep us locked into a certain way of being. And that we don't have to be out in the world to be free, that we can be free within our own spirit, within our own consciousness, that we're here. And I'm so thrilled with both Kristen and myself that we have been willing to talk about some of these social issues around and the ways that we can create a world that works for everyone, that we can do our part in it. And I saw a graphic this week I wanted to share with you because I think it's an important one to consider, that when we talk about Black Lives Matters, we're talking about not that one life is better than others, but that we all want to be equal. And in this graphic, I think what some people think, that when we talk about Black Lives Matter, that one is that we want one to be better, but it's really we just want to raise everybody up to the same level, all Black, Indigenous, all people of color, all genders, orientations, all faiths, all people. And so this is what we're seeking for, a world that works for everyone in this way, to allow a full experience of freedom so that everybody has the greatest opportunity to experience freedom. And part of the work we do is not only out in the world, but within ourselves, within our own consciousness. And I love this concept I've been thinking about this week, the Tao of freedom. So as Joey, and thank you, Joey, for introducing this topic, talked about it, that we usually here in the Western world talk about the Tao as the way, or the path. And often I think of it as the path of least resistance. Taoism came to China at a time when Confucianism did very elaborate sculptures and carvings and elaborate buildings, and they put a lot of time into it. And the Taoists were saying they sought a simpler way, a way of non-doing, not so much doing, not spending so much time in the world, but to be within our spirit. It's often thought, people are saying that it is moving forward without an intention, but really it's action without attachment. So rather than action without intention, it's action without attachment. And I think it's really important, the growth of all these Eastern spiritual traditions, because they tend to be introspective, and their influence on our own centers for spiritual living is one of introspection. We're all now seeking that once we have developed this consciousness, once we begin to understand and awaken, that we can move out into the world and engage with this love, with this peace, with this joy that we're experiencing within. So you hear the Buddhists now talking about engaged Buddhism. And the Taoists are more active in the world, even though it's action without attachment about the form. And I think we can all learn from this without attachment, as we ourselves are engaged in our spirituality, engaged in spreading love and joy out into the world, that we don't want to be attached to the form of it, to how we think it should show up, how we think a world works for everyone. That, we may have ideas about it, but the truth is, if we are truly allowing Spirit to work through us, we're going to allow Spirit to create through us, and we can let go of how we think it should be, that attachment that we have. Often I think of the way of the Tao of spirituality, is often like a rock, a boulder that comes down from the mountain and lands into a river. Boulders have come into our lives often, and we see it as an obstacle we can't get past, but the water in the river simply moves around it with ease and grace. Doesn't try to change the boulder, doesn't get concerned about how big the boulder is or how insurmountable it seems to be. It just moves around with the least resistance. And in fact, over time, that water smooths that boulder out, and it breaks it into rocks, which breaks it into pebbles, which breaks it into sand and silt that is carried into the water, that's carried out and down into the ocean. That boulder, once that insurmountable object, became one with the river, the flow of life. And so it is with us, because sometimes we are the boulder and sometimes we are the water. Sometimes we fall and we become a place of solidness. Now, at times, it's important. We want to stand. I know the people protesting now, the people are standing up for what is, in their mind, right. What they are for are a boulder or a rock in the road that's saying this is the way it is. And my opinion, this is just my opinion, is that if the police and the law enforcement were willing to flow and seek the least resistance, that there could be more of an understanding and compassion, because while we caress this rock, as we move around this rock, we're in relationship with this rock, but we're not opposing it, we're not trying to move it. We're simply in relationship, and so we create this. And sometimes we're the rock, and sometimes we're the water, and either way, we are one. The symbol that the Taoists often use is the yin-yang, and this is a symbol of movement. It's not static in any way. Notice that there is seemingly opposition of light and dark. Yet there is dark in the light and light in the dark. And it's not a line either, for all around it is oneness. And this is almost like the rock and the water that moves around each other. And it becomes one because we're willing to let it interact with each other. It becomes the water moving over the rocks that smooths out the rocks, and we all become one in this way. That we are allowing. It is going with the flow. I remember when I lived in Colorado, I loved to play in the rivers there, and they had some pretty big rivers there, that water that came down from the mountains that would develop these class 4, class 5 rapids. And a friend of mine once invited me to get into a inflatable kayak with her and do class 4 rapids in inflatable kayak. And you're right in the water, literally. I've never felt so one with the flow. And she sat in the front, and I in the back. I would be the steering, so right or left. And she would say she knew the river, and she would notice rocks and notice things and notice where certain rapids would go, and would simply tell me to paddle right or left. And we were just in a sync and in this flow. But at one point she seemed to panic, which concerned me because she's not a panicky person. But suddenly was yelling left, 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 left. And I was paddling left, and she realized she was saying that she wanted me to go left, which if you know anything about canoeing or paddling, you paddle on the opposite side. And suddenly she realized what she was doing, and just at the right time, she just left, left, left. So I was paddling left. And just right here by my side, I saw this pointed rock. And it actually has a name called Pinnacle Rock, and all rafts and inflatable kayaks, even regular kayaks, want to avoid it because it has a sharp point. But how amazing that this flow that we had, that we moved in and out of things, and this is the nature. And sometimes we hit those rocks in our lives, and we realize there is a obstacle that it seems insurmountable, but if we allow Spirit to come through us, we can simply flow and be in the flow and the Tao of things, the way of least resistance. Even when a moment of anxiety or depression or health concerns or relationship concerns or job concerns or lack of job concerns, whatever those concerns are, we allow Spirit to move through us, and those obstacles can move out of the way because we're just moving them around them. And over time, and we don't know how much time, we don't need to know how much time, it's going to smooth out. It's just going to smooth out. And because we really are one, all one. So in order to do this, it's important for us to be receptive to the power within. And there's a word that's used in the Tao called Wu Wei, which simply means the way of non-doing or the way of non-attachment. And it's allowing this power to work through us as us in this way. That it is alignment with our highest and best. It's an alignment with the oneness that is Spirit that allows us simply to move around things without it being an obstacle, without it being something that keeps us from being in this feeling that there is something against us. I was talking to an artist friend of mine this week, and she was talking about how a lot of her shows for her work, she's used to making money from them, and she's not able to do that. But she mentioned she has a love-hate relationship with the shows anyway, because she likes going to the shows and getting feedback about her art, but it's also hard to hear the feedback about her art because at times it seems critical because it's so personal to her. And so it is with life. It's like we're a piano that's not being played. And a piano that's not played goes out of tune. It becomes dusty and rusty. And we are made as humans to be out into the world, to be played, to be active. It's like the orchestra that tunes up before they play, that they're tuning in with each other, they're harmonizing, they're in tuning. And we need that as humans. It's part of who we are, so it's a difficult time to find ourselves. And she said as an artist, she's not doing as much art right now because she needs that feedback. So I know it's difficult to do, and we still can find a way to tune in with Spirit, tune in with the people we have in contact, the Zoom things we have. I forgot an announcement. When I look at the schedule, speaking of playing, we're going to have another play day this Friday on Zoom. And I'll put that out. We had a really fun scavenger hunt. Depending on how many people we'll have, we might do a little bit of scavenger hunt, but we might play some more games, have some fun. And I tell you what, this time there really are going to be prizes. Last time I promised prizes and did not deliver. I promise this time prizes. Okay, so prizes. So pay attention to that. Even your whole family can be a part of that. They, especially with the scavenger hunt, they can help you look for things, and we're talking about children or children, can be a part of that. So, because I think we need to play. I think that's a human need to be able to play. And the other thing I think it's important for us to do is to return to the harmony, return to the flow of life, because we can get a little out of whack right now. We can get into blaming and shaming, whether we're a conspiracy theorist or we want to blame another political party or someone who didn't act or somebody who didn't do this or that, let all that go and just now. I'm not saying there is a time to act. There's a time to stand for what you want. There's a time to be the bolder, and you can still be in harmony with life when you are the bolder, because you are for something. The boulder that falls down from the mountain is the process of mountains slowly eroding. Older mountains like the ones around us that were volcanic originally are slowly eroding and becoming smaller and smoothing out. The oldest mountains are smooth. The newest mountains are jagged. So it is with us that we are in the process of becoming smooth in that. I think of it as Play-Doh. I promised you in some of your texts and emails about Play-Doh. So, when we're born, through the birth process, we can be rather misshapen, or sometimes in the terrible twos, or other times that we can be a little ornery, a little resistant. So we kind of, but over time, through parenting, through social connections, even in this square form, and let me tell you what, I'm just going to come up a little closer so you can see what we've got here. So you've got to, but even over time, as life happens, it begins to round out, and then as you learn spiritual practices, it becomes smoother and smoother. The problem is life is if it offers some criticism, or you're kind of stretched out at different times, you kind of lose your shape. Life leaves an impression on you, and you're just not. You're feeling a little droopy, a little droopy. Is this how we feel some days? Like, just want to lay on the couch and go, oh, I don't have any energy. But when we find the spiritual practices, when we come back to harmony, when we allow the flow to happen, allow that spirit to move in us like the water, that we become the rock, that things begin to smooth out. Then there's a pathway of least resistance around us, so even when somebody becomes the rock for us, that we can simply roll, we can move, and we can be smooth. So there's the lessons of Play-Doh from Reverend Jay today. And it is baseball season too, right? So, but this is the way of life, that we just allow Spirit to come through us, and we let go of our proverbial monkey mind that's inside of us, our thoughts that are unnecessary, that create drama, that create blame, that is unnecessary, that have negativity. And so we just seek this common ground. We seek this way for us to flow. And eventually we get to this place where we can just act without attachment. The act with no attachment at all. We can just let go like the dandelion seeds here and let the winds carry us. Not that we are not grounded in that which is good and that which is God, but we allow Spirit to open up us in this way. Ernest Holmes says, the road to freedom lies not through the mysteries or occult performances, but through the intelligent use of nature's force and laws. Ernest Holmes says that there's a power in the universe greater than us, and we can use it. The Tao might say that we can let it use us, but either way, it is a recognition of this force and allowing it to move through us, allowing it to be the truth of who we are. And we sometimes need to return to this harmony. Remember, like Bodhi's song, the music or the prayer or the meditation brings us back into remembering who we really are. And even when we feel restricted, constricted, anxious, concerned, we can just let that go at least for a moment and be in the flow. I love the mystics of old and new mystics. And Hildegard Bingen, I think is how you say that, says this beautiful line, this beautiful poem. She says that our soul is kissed by God in our innermost being. Our soul is kissed by God in our innermost being. With interior yearning, grace and blessings are bestowed. It is a yearning that take on God's gentle yoke. So it's taking on and willingness to accept something. It is a yoke, but it is a gentle yoke because it's subtle and flowing and easy and graceful. So it's a yearning of giving oneself to God's way. Humankind is full of creative possibility. It is God's work. We are called to assist God. We are called to co-create. So we are full of these creative possibility, and that's God's work. And we are called to assist God. We are called to co-create. So how wonderful it is for us to take these time we have to allow Spirit to come through us and flow through us in this way. The beauty of Spirit that is always ours. As we allow ourselves to be permeable, like the Play-Doh, we allow ourselves to be molded into smoothness so that we can roll with life rather than it be jagged and anxious. And we just allow Spirit to come through us. So I have an affirmation for us. If you're ready, repeat after me. I let go and am the flow. I let go and am the flow. I am in harmony and alignment with my highest good right now. I am in harmony and alignment with my highest good right now. So let us go to prayer. So we just take a moment to allow the flow to come through us. The graciousness of Spirit. The love of Spirit. It is who we really are. So whether we are the rock in a moment that allows Spirit to smooth us out, or whether we are the water that smooths out over a situation that seems like obstacles, we are one with all that is. And we are free. Let us be this truth of who we are in this moment and in all moments. I know that all who have requested prayers last week and this week, their prayers are already being acted upon by simply your willingness to open to the possibilities. The Wu way as so it is. Let us be in the way of the least resistance and allowing Spirit to move and heal and create through us. I know all is well, and so it is. And now, back to Bodhi. I think I could just stay here for a few days while you're playing that. Thank you for bringing that sacredness into the room. Beautiful. Thank you, Bodine. Thank you for being here again. This is a time in our service we acknowledge all those people who've given to us either online or sending checks to us or pay bill, however how you pay us and donate to us. We sure appreciate it. It continues us able to support this vision and mission we have. So we just take those offerings we've received in the mail and in consciousness know all the ones that have been done online as well. And we affirm that divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. We also acknowledge families of young children as well as teenagers in this time that's challenging because of you're just contained so much. And so we just bless you in all that you're doing and knowing that we will be back to teen groups and youth classes soon. I'm thinking next year. I don't know what. Soon is a relative word, isn't it? 2021? I don't know. Yeah. But we bless you. That's the main part, right? That is what we know for sure. So we just want to, we see you, we care about you, and we're here for you. Blessings to you all. I remember after the service, we have the Zoom call. Anybody is welcome. If this is your first time or your 1,000th time with us, feel free to join us on Zoom to connect and meet new people if you haven't been on Zoom before, or people you just haven't been on there before. Please join us for that, and know that it's a great way to connect. And then also consider the small groups we're starting. Look at those. Classes are going to start, but also mark your calendar for September 12th for Sip and Savor. All right, we want to do our affirmation now, our final affirmation. So, something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I am led by Spirit.
Led by Spirit.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am protected by love.
I am protected by love.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am here to be a blessing.
I'm so grateful. And so it is.
Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now.
So as we go forward, we just allow ourselves to be the flow, to be the water that moves around any obstacles in our lives and be in harmony with that which is God. And so it is. And all is well.